intention of today's video is talk about why I wrote my book, right? And so some backstory about why I wrote my book, and the reason why the book was born, and the theory, the background on how it's been formed, etc, etc. And of course, if you want to learn how to write a book, or if you've ever thought of writing a book, you can subscribe and then you can email me. I will definitely be glad to assist you to make your dream come true if book writing is something that you want to do as an author. The book itself, I became an author by accident. In fact, a lot of things in the last 5 years since I started Thy Dreams Matters is really not planned. I have an idea on where I want to go, but I'm not always clear where I want to go. But I know one thing, which I must take the first immediate steps. Because when I complete my first immediate step, my next immediate step will appear. And that is when I decided to write the book, make the decorations, and then it takes 3 years with a lot of revisions, and then it launched. First December 2019, sort of like a significant year and a time. I had a book launch, right? That year was book launch. Yes, that year was book launch. It was 1st December 2015. Yeah, so that was the day where I remember very clearly. I just came back from KKH. It was a day surgery of removing the twins. Yeah, so if you have watched the first video, you will have known that I lost a pair of twins at 29. So that was that year, 2015. And when, you know, they say miscarriage is common, right? It's actually like 10% of the pregnancy. And it just happened that I fall in that 10%. And of course that what really happened that day was that I went back home. I was, you know, when you were in such a loss and depressed, sad, you know, a lot of emotions there. Even you Google, you can't find anything to comfort you. And that was when I make a declaration and a decision to say is that one day I will write a book, and I'll write a book to dedicate my book to the twins. And I even named my twins Ân Hui and Ân Le. Ân Hui meaning 感恩的恩 means gratitude. Hui means wisdom. So to have gratitude and wisdom. Ân Le means, of course, ân is gratitude again. Le means 快乐的乐 means happiness. So the book is like dedicated to them in a way, to everybody in a sense, where you will always have gratitude, wisdom, and happiness. Backstory, okay, backstory. When I was preparing for my book launch, that week my grandma passed away. Yeah, I mean, and that year, a very dear mentor also passed away that year. So have life been easy? I'm not sure, but I know that if you're watching this and you need inspiration, so you just need someone to listen. I mean, I can be a good listener, but I'm not always a good listener. But yeah, I think just reach out. So I do a lot of things with points of view. So in points of view, it's called Phototherapies, and we have like different cards. Maybe the next video I can show you what is it about. Basically, what I did was I took one deck of the cards, which is called Journey series, and in that Journey series there's 13 topics. And in that 13 topics, there is topics like choice, journey, timing, like even the last chapter was death. And because at that time I was trained in this particular New Zealand behavior preference tool called Tetra Map, which uses earth, air, water and fire to sort of know a person's behavior. So the book title is Know Thyself, Thy Dreams Matters, Go For It, a 37 days journal. So I believe in the power of journal. In fact, a lot of very famous people do journaling. It's when you do journaling where you actually can realize your thoughts that is in your inner world. That sometimes you might be very surprised on what comes out from what you have wrote. So as I mentioned, 1st December 2019, it was the year that the book was officially launched. And you have introductions on what the book and how to use the book. So part 1 is about the water element, where I talk about my own journey and my values. I always believe that having your own personal value is like a North Star in your life, that when you are lost, you can always look at your value to determine what kind of decision you will make. So the topic, in my own journey, I wrote, so there's 13 chapters as I mentioned. There's journey, beginning, alone, everything is possible, should be, fear, awareness, belief, intuition, choice, timing, calling and death. I wrote my personal value of eagles. I can share a little bit about what my personal value is about. And then the part two of the book is the earth elements, where I wrote a theory, which is Thy Dreams Matters theory, where what exactly is Thy Dreams Matters theory, which we will talk about it in the next video. And part 3 we talk about which is the journal, the air elements, and then part 4 is the fire elements, like what's next. So earth is firm like the mountain. If you think of the metaphor of a mountain, it's basically very grounded, and therefore it is the theory of the book, where it's very firm. And then water, I started with water element because water is calm like a lake. So it's very relationships. If you can think of the picture of a lake right now, you will know that it's really about, and you know they always say that water is fluid, right? And water is very relationships. And I wanted the audience to sort of have a relationship with me first, before going into the air element, which is clear like the wind. If you see the wind, right, is very clear, and then it's like when you write your journal, if you go through this process of 37 days, me about with the book, right? I always say this when someone buys my books. I always say yes, this is my book, but when you have it, make it your book. Because when you write that journal, that 37 days, or even like a day or two, it becomes yours. And then the fire elements, I remember very clearly, I wrote that chapter when my dad was admitted into the hospital for the 2nd time for heart attack. And I wrote something along the line where I was not very clear where I was going, to be honest, at that point. I'm just going to read you the summary of what I wrote, okay? And then I was looking at my dad, happily looking at the YouTube, and then I asked myself, what's next? So my deepest wish and greatest hope for Thy Dreams Matters is to spread the message that your dreams matters, go for it, to friends who knows me, to people I will encounter, and to anyone whom I will interact with down the road. So yeah, so if you are watching this, you are the one people that I will encounter down the road. I started with a very taboo context, or sometimes questions that probably I don't know whether it comes to your mind, right? Like, what if today is your last day? So yeah, so what if today is your last day? How would you want to live your days? And of course, along the way, if you are searching about me, you probably can find a podcast that I did together with this women organizations, where I think I mentioned in that podcast that if I can change another question for my book, I'll probably write, what if today is your best day? So yeah, so with that, I will close this video and put that questions onto your lap. Like, what if today is your last day, or what if today is your best day? How would you want to live today? And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!